and we're going to transition now. We're going to get a little bit of an update from Tim Maxey from Major League Baseball. He's the Joint Strength and Conditioning Coordinator for the MLB and MLBPA, and he's going to give us about 2 minutes of his time, and then we're going to transition. Brian Jordan's going to stay on, and he's going to give us an update from NSF. So appreciate the panel. Thank you for your time. Awesome job.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, thanks everyone. That was a great panel. Just wanted to say to everyone on the call, we appreciate everything you've done for everything for what you did for the 2020 season. To echo what John and Bob said yesterday, obviously a tremendous challenge both personally and professionally for each and every one of you. Our sports dietitians, our strength and conditioning coaches, performance personnel did an incredible job last year, and you need to be commended for it. And I know that that sometimes we're always the last person or last group that gets a thank you. But I mean, I know that echoing what John and Bob said yesterday as part of the joint committee, this group solves problems, and that's what we love about it. And traditionally, we've been able to do that collectively. So, we'll continue that in 2021. I'll let you know that. We'll be following up with different Zoom calls and to make sure we're providing you with the most up-to-date information. And we're going to include you in the process, similar to what we did last year, but much more. So we want to make sure you're fully aware of that. You have our support. Obviously, a crazy start to last season. We finished in Florida. I traveled with the Players Association at that particular time. We were out there in Arizona, and I'm sitting there talking to Stoney and Erica and the rest of the Royal staff. And next thing you know, a few hours later, I'm on a flight home, and you all are doing the same thing. So, it was quite a period, quite challenging. And I've had a lot of conversations with you over this year. And the one thing that I think that hit on a few years ago is just a reminder about us, right? Don't forget about us. Don't forget about you and your personal and mental health. We spend more time training everybody else and try to take care of everybody else. So we got to remember, we got to take care of ourselves. And obviously coming off that season, you deserved a tremendous amount of rest, and thank you for everything that you did. Moving in 21, we're going to be relying on you. The other group right now that, I want to thank is John Coyles and Lindsey Ingram with the Commissioner's Office, and Bob Lenahan, Players Association. I think that you all know that the amount of work that they did during that incredible time to include us in the process and trust what our opinions were and where we needed to work out and what we needed to do, and the adjustments we had to make on food. So, but with them, they, you're talking 3 a.m. when you get test results. They're getting up, they just never slept the entire season. So they deserve as much credit as anyone. And just like us, that you won't ever hear about it. But they were incredible and super supportive of what we do. And that's a big deal. Kind of just what Eric was talking about from the NSCA standpoint, we appreciate them coordinate the SIG. That was obviously that was a great session. The education committee did an incredible job. Just a reminder, the CSCS and the RSCCs do this year. So I sent that email out. Make sure your entire staff are aware of it. That's part of our joint policy. We want to make sure we're following. Additional policies you need to think about is a technology policy that we have, and make sure everyone's aware and understand bodily fluids and understand what volunteer is and tech. And so when you're planning and preparing for next season, make sure we're connected on that. Regarding 2021 tiers, I think there's been some questions on that. John and Bob will follow up with us on calls to let you know that access to Clubhouse, and we are hopeful to expect a very good 21 with all of us involved in access to the Clubhouse. One more policy, obviously supplements. I'm going to hand off to Brian here, Brian Jordan with NSF. There's a couple of things that he's going to give real quick on the app, some updates on the app, and we really want your feedback on that scanning tool that it has. We want to make sure if there are any bugs, which we don't think there are, but if there are, we want to make sure we work it out before we hit spring training. So again, I just want to connect with all of you and thank you, Matt. You're doing an incredible job, Frank, the entire education committee, and we appreciate it. And thanks for letting me speak to you. And I'm just going to hand this off to Brian Jordan.
Thank you, Tim. Great, credit to you and your leadership. I think you, like the others, you don't get enough credit for the things that you do behind the scenes to keep the ball moving and to put everybody in position for success. So much credit to you, Tim. For those who may not know, I mean, Tim's been part of the PBSCCS society from the very beginning. So that's back in the mid to late 90s. So he's been in every one of these meetings and part of the society and guiding for many, many years. So much thanks to Tim. He also doesn't get the credit that he deserves. So I will share my screen. I've got a few updates I will share with you today. So Matt, can you see my screen?
Yeah, yes, we do.
Good, good.
Just you gotta make it bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So let's see if we can. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this to full zoom instead of presenter mode, but rather than take up more time, this is going to be quick anyway. So I'll just go from this this view. So really today, I'm going to cover some manufacturing trends, some regulatory updates, some product trends, and then the Certified for Sport program updates, all of which just trying to provide you all with some information that is of value that you should be aware of when dealing with your athletes and also even yourselves. So manufacturing trends, you know, as many of you may have observed this year or heard that, you know, there was a thing, you know, pandemic that was COVID-19 that impacted the world a little bit. Well, part of that impact, you know, was the FDA. The FDA ended up suspending all on-site audits due to COVID-19. And what does that mean? Well, so the dietary supplement space, the food space, there's about 15,000 manufacturing facilities in the United States and outside the United States. So 15 to 20,000 of these facilities. Well, the FDA typically inspects about 4% of that, and that's on a risk-based audit system. And so risk-based system. And so once they suspended these on-site audits, it went to a system of virtual and risk-based with some of these other facilities. Point being that there's a lot of these facilities that were not being really inspected before because it was just based off a small percentage of what's being manufactured out there. When COVID hit and to the world we live in right now, these facilities are not being inspected by the FDA. So it's something to be aware of because there is risk when there's not, you know, independent bodies, you know, holding people accountable to doing things the right way. So just from a statistical standpoint, you know, in quarter two, there was 647 total warning letters. And then in quarter three, there was 152. As you can see, the significant drop off in warning letters. It wasn't because they were, you know, manufacturing things and abiding by good practices better. It's because there's less inspections. And what really it turned into is there's more of these warning letters being issued to things that they can see online, and more of those inspections that are not on site. So there's a significant drop off. There were 79 dietary supplement, cosmetic OTC warning letters issued in quarter two of those 647, and then a drop off to 39 in quarter three. So once again, these are there's a drop off in these warning letters because they're not inspecting these facilities. So there's risk there. What are those risks? There's you know, the top 3 GMP violations on average. What those are there, I'll list them out real quick, is not verifying the finished product specs, so that they're not testing, these manufacturing facilities are not, you know, verifying once the product has been produced, verifying that it meets label claims, that it's, you the finished product specs meet what they had intended. The second, violation, most popular violation, is not verifying the identity of the ingredients prior to use. So they have to identify, either testing on site, they have to test these ingredients prior to using them for a finished product, or they verify their supplier through either going to the site and making sure that they have quality systems in place to be testing for it. C of A's, which is the analysis of the ingredients. So that's an issue that comes up in these facilities routinely that are being inspected and given warning letters. And then the failure to follow written procedures for QA operations. So those are master manufacturing records, batch production records, sanitation, meaning they are not meeting the cleaning requirements that are outlined. They're not following the manufacturing. So that means that they could have, had a stop in the production. And if you have a line production that stops, the quality systems have to be in place. How to get rid of those products? How do you get rid of labels? So there's a quality control there that doesn't exist as a top issue in these GMP facilities. So just want to bring that up, that is the world that exists out there right now with some of these manufacturing facilities. So it's so important to know that those facilities are being inspected. They are being inspected by reputable, third-party organizations to certify these facilities. Supply chain also is becoming an issue, and it's related. Before it was an issue, but with COVID has really reared its head in that supply chains are getting tighter because of travel, air traffic, boats, and just the demand in itself of dietary supplements has gone up. So there's a lot of concern. There's been less impact early on because many prepared for a Chinese New Year, and so a lot of these facilities had their raw materials and stuff in place prior to COVID. But we're going to see some disruptions with that going forward, which means there's going to be adulteration issues. They swap out ingredients for cheaper ingredients. They're not verifying some of these. There's synthetic, alterations to finished products. So there's a lot to consider there as well. Moving on to regulatory updates. The FDA's guidance on CBD. I know that's the topic of many here in 2020, but it's not a topic that's going away. It's a topic that is going to continue to be discussed. The FDA's guidance on CBD has been very clear, and that's the only thing that's been clear about it, is that CBD itself is, even though we see it in products everywhere, is not a legal ingredient to be put into food. And so there's hemp seed, hemp protein, and hemp seed oil that have GRAS status that is permitted in food, but CBD, CBD isolate, extracts, CBD itself is not allowed in human food, even though we see it everywhere. So there's many products out there that the FDA is not regulating properly, even though they have the ability to do so. They're not able to go out there and start pulling these products off the shelf, nor do they, I think, have the willpower to do that, because they definitely don't have the resources. But what they can do, and what they've been doing with CBD, as well as COVID-related claims, is the FTC deals with the marketing side of things and uses the FDA as well for any kind of recalls or warning letters. But the FDA and FTC have been cracking down on really the easy, low-hanging fruit for CBD claims or their websites, things like that. But they also have targeted most recently COVID claims, claims to cure COVID, any kind of disease claims. And in fact, over half the FDA warning letters in Q2 and Q3 have been COVID related. Now, a lot of that's because the travel restrictions, not being able to do on-site travel, and those inspections, but also there's just a slew of, as you can imagine, people trying to take advantage of opportunity with, trying to treat COVID and try to make those claims to make their products seem to sell the product. So there's that out there as well. And then the last really regulatory update I want to touch on that'll lead me into the banned substances and then NSF updates is that the FDA, as you're seeing, possibly is challenging to monitor and take care of adulterated products. And so when I say adulterated products, there's active pharmaceutical ingredients that are being, intentionally or unintentionally put in some of these dietary supplements. The problem being how the law is written. The FDA, if it has a supplement facts panel and it has a active pharmaceutical ingredient in that dietary supplement, though the FDA does regulate dietary supplements, they can't use the food and supplement resources of the FDA to go after these brands. So because of that, we're seeing more and more of these products like that have SARMs, that have ostarine, LGD4033, PDE5 inhibitors. There's a slew of these drugs that are showing up in these products, once again, intentionally or unintentionally, to make the product work better, or because their raw materials are contaminated. So the product trends, because of a lot that's going on, there have been some good things. There's been continued growth in new product types, flavors, and delivery methods. I mean, there's a lot of people have a problem with swallowing pills, especially aging people, but people in general. I think we're becoming a society that's not wanting to take more and more pills, but we are looking to find different ways. So there's a lot of creativity existing right now in the food and supplement space, where it's using beverages, using whether it's drops, sprays. There's a lot of different methods. The only thing I would bring up with when those things are, you're looking at new products, that if it's to beautify, to rub on the skin, things like that, that is not a dietary supplement. And so it goes into a cosmetic and OTC realm. The bad, there continues to be pre-workouts, fat burners that are containing the DMAA and DMHA, octadrene. We know that through research projects, through sampling of testing of products out there, either purchased online or in stores. There's these contaminated products. And so that's existed for a while now and continues to be a problem with some of these pre-workout fat burner products. Sexual enhancement products, like I mentioned just recently, that the PDE5 inhibitors, Cialis, Viagra, are showing up in those products. Not to mention that there are also banned substances also that are showing up at ostarine, some others in these sexual enhancement products because of where they're being manufactured, also the raw materials being put into it, and also the intentional banned substances being put in these sexual enhancement products for obvious reasons. The ugly, there's the muscle building products, they don't go away either. There's an interest out there for muscle growth, rapid muscle growth, all the red flags that we're taught to look for. But there's obviously a market out there that caters to that. And the SARMs market has exploded in recent years. They are very much out there, like this product here on the right that has ostarine in it. They says right on the front, dietary supplement, and per the FDA, that is not a legal dietary ingredient. That's a drug, a investigative drug that wouldn't be allowed in a dietary supplement. So that's an illegal product. Those are out there everywhere. And also those products have to be manufactured in a manufacturing facility that could also be manufacturing more benign products, whether it be food, functional foods, dietary supplements. So there's that risk. The SARMs, just want to bring up, many may believe that there isn't a problem out there with contaminated products. Unfortunately, we don't know that. The only way to know that really has been through athletes, the ones that are being drug tested for picogram levels of drugs and banned substances. So what's happened in the last 3 years, there's been approximately 80 reported inadvertent doping cases with sanctions of professional and amateur athletes. And so these are not the dog ate my homework kind of cases. These are cases where athletes have tested positive for a substance. They've gone in and looked at what their diet looks like. They could be there has been contaminated products that they end up testing. They test that product and figure out whether that level in that product, one, if it has the banned substance, two, if it's at a level that if digested would cause a adverse event or a failure at a drug test. And so this is real. In a lot of these cases, these the anabolic agents make up over half of the substance detected. Well, of those anabolic agents, half of them have been ostarine and LGD 4033. So the point being with this is those are SARMs. They are a hot contamination right now, and they and it's once again loop back around to the possibility of not getting in trouble with a mislabeling as opposed to adulteration of a product, and what those violations, those costs would be if the FDA goes after these people. So I think that we can anticipate that SARMs are not going away. It's just going to change from what was ostarine as the big spike is now LGD 4033, and I'm sure they're already on to the next SARM or next one that's more difficult to detect in these drug testing programs, and that's the whack-a-mole world that we have to deal with. Last, really supplement-related industry comment will be that this is also what we're dealing with. Supplement facts panel, these are labels for this same product, just on different sites and different, as you can see, they have different labels. One is a supplement facts panel that has hygenamine and some other banned substances. And then you look on the right, there's a nutrition facts panel, and they just switched it up with a 2-amino isoheptane, which was the DMHA, illegal dietary ingredient that I mentioned before. So they even put DMHA on the front of the Berserk Black Magic product right here. But they're just going to ping pong back and forth, I guess, in some of these using a nutrition facts panel when it's inappropriate to do so. This is a dietary supplement, and not only a dietary supplement that may not be the best for you, it also has illegal ingredients, non-dietary ingredients in them. So the last bit is the NSF updates. So these are brief, but I do want you to know that we have added 7 new banned substances just recently. And so the method development has completed. We're able to add those into the screen, and we are now testing for 280 banned substances. And a few of those are actually the newer SARMs that we're trying to make sure that they're not going to cause any inadvertent doping cases. And so, we've added 7 new banned substances. The other thing is there's been very little impact, knock on wood. There's been very little impact on Certified for Sport certification this year caused by COVID, which was mainly because we were able to keep our scientists and our lab going as an essential business. And so our scientists were in there being able to test these products, when the rest of NSF is not on site. And so we've been able to keep that going. Also, as you may know, the dietary supplement industry has been booming still. And so there's a lot of interest in, health and taking supplements to make sure that everyone's staying healthy. So there's a vast interest in dietary supplements that maybe even have grown. So we've been fortunate to be able to stay on top of that with the certification program. Personal care, the personal care certification program we're being developed, that should be next year rolling out. And what that means for you is we'll be able to look at the cosmetic and the OTC products that exist out there that do have legal drugs in them, but also there could be contamination issues that we're going to look to verify the ingredients, but also looking for banned substances so that it mitigates the risk of athletes and the practitioners that are using and recommending those products. My last but not least comment will be an update about the new educational materials that we have created to highlight the app scan feature. So if you know how to use the app and have investigated the app, we have a great scan feature. We're going to highlight that scan feature as a great way to verify that a product is certified. And so we've created some posters. There's a YouTube video that I'm going to attempt here at the last second to show you. It's a great way to highlight and teach how to use a scan feature. We're going to want everyone to be able to do that because it is I guess the easiest way to verify that a product is certified for sport, and that's something that we want to highlight. So bear with me on this.
How to be sure a sports nutrition product is NSF certified for sport. Learn to use the app scan feature to reduce your risk and protect your health. Let's get started. First, download and launch the app on your smartphone. Tap the scan function located at the bottom left of the home screen. Locate and scan the UPC code on the product using your camera. After scanning the product, there are 3 possible outcomes. Outcome 1, the product isn't certified. Don't take it. Instead, look for alternative certified products using the search button on the home screen of the app. Outcome 2, the lot number isn't listed. After scanning the product, locate the lot number on the product label. Compare this number to the returned list. If the product lot number isn't listed, tap the orange button at the bottom of the screen. This product isn't certified for sport either. Don't use it. Outcome 3. After scanning, tap your product's lot number on the returned list. This product is certified for sport. Reduce your risk and protect your health. Rely on NSF's Certified for Sport app to find tested, certified sports nutrition.
All righty. Well, should have figured that technology would bite me in the butt on this one.
I am very happy to be passing it back over now to Werner Linders, who's going to provide a Global 19 global update.
Sorry about that. I should have known that that would be outside of my scope of capability with technology. So I apologize. I will put the link in the chat, and so you guys can go on to YouTube and check that out without me screwing it up. But and I'll put my contact information if you guys don't have that. But once again, thanks everyone for your attention. Sorry for the screw up, and please don't hesitate to let me know if you need something.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that.